skill work ethic. So I guess we're gonna have to figure it out. But I'm gonna leave it to you guys to bring on the action, and I'm gonna go eat my burger.
Oh, enjoy your burger. Enjoy it a lot, as we do, of course, once again, see that knife round come in, and, well, who will be able to slice up some beef for, of course, Maniac's burger, because he's quite hungry, as we can see. And, well, RJ, so far, 3 out of 3 knife rounds have gone in favor of the Heretics side, and will they be able to make it 4 out of 4?
That would be, of course, a very good start already on Vertigo. We'll have to see it in a moment now, as we can see the players lining up, and it's getting close. They're already knifing around a little bit, but no damage being done just yet. Now we see the first stabby stabs coming in. JR goes down, so does Kalinka, Jill or Lyman. Yep. Indeed, Heretics grab the 4th knife round. And maybe, just maybe, that is the telltale sign of them grabbing, you know, well, the map here. I wouldn't say that because obviously they did lose out on Dust 2, but still, or on Inferno, but still. There's a good chance that maybe, you know, with this expected CT side start now, we'll see Heretics coming out on top.
Yeah, well, there's a very good chance that Heretics might be able to win this. Statistically, they are in favor. 57% win rate over the 38 on the side of Hellraisers, as there was a player falling. Will he ever land? We won't know, because we're going in towards the pistol round. This might be the last map of this first semi-final. It might just be yet another map before we go to Nuke.
We'll have to see that in a moment, you know. It's going to play out a little bit. The pistol round is always a solid indicator of how your first few rounds are going to go. But it could still be turned around, you know. Even if Hellraisers might be on that less preferred T side, I do see it happening that maybe, just maybe, they could still cause a bit of an upset, that they could actually grab that round from Heretics. We'll have to see now how Kiyoshima is going to be with his side hold on the A ramp. He should have spalled out an arm here, but heavily tagged up. 14 HP left on him. I believe that was actually a headshot, but the distance from the Glock made it not a fatal shot.
Well, you have to be quite close to the Glock to at least make it a one-shot headshot, so indeed it was a headshot to come in. Some nades towards Lucky will bring him to half HP. There was a mid and B stack from the side of Heretics, yet they have now already rotated in full. But they are not able to contest this bomb plant. Maka will take down Problem, however. That's at least the opening frag in their favor, as Maka now goes down through the smoke himself. Means we're back to even numbers. Lucky standing by, they have to go for a push in some time soon. As of course, they don't have a defuse kit, and they really need to get these frags. Push comes in, but it will be Lime the opening frag on towards Lucky, and there will be a push to Yellow Topper. Kalinka takes on XMS. Vera tries to at least do some damage control and get one. And on the pistols, he's always really strong, as well as Kiyoshima. But there's the sole members alive, and Kiyoshima, he's low. Gets another frag off towards JR, leaving only players alive at a time. It is ticking down, and I don't think they have to defuse. And that means now the first round goes in favor of Hellraisers. This is interesting, RJ, because we haven't seen a pistol round go in favor of the T side since the first map.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do wonder, you know, like Heretics there, if they could have bought a little bit differently, if they would have had that defuse kit, I think that would have been a solid, you know, defuse coming in there. But even then, it was getting quite close, and Hellraisers, well, you know, they played that out well enough, although they did all end up losing their life. They still got the round win, and I believe that is, of course, the most important takeaway. And now you can see with their buy, MAC-10s, AKs, and even a Galil. And now that's going to be strong against Heretics.
Nova buy.
Oh boy, Nova. Oh boy.
Well, Maka is just trying to make money as he's already been tagged up, and that means with an 8, he might fall soon. Still, he survives with 13 HP left on the counter. The players are really close, of course, from below the ladder. There might be some pressure as well. And there's still a frag grenade on towards JR, which might come in sooner rather than later. They do want to expand that utility. JR himself just peeks in with his MAC-10 because he wants to make more money than just an 8 kill. That means now we have the opener in favor of the Hellraiser side once more. At least they're starting off strong, but that's something we've seen every map so far from the side of Hellraiser. They're always strong at the start. Yeah, they choke out a little bit later as well. The round started well. XMS has a refrag, but there will be Nivera over peaking. B pressure only from the B stairs for XMS. He's pulling out player, gets another one dig of his own. But of course, insta trade from Problem, still the player lead in favor of Hellraisers.
And we see the bomb going down now. Kiyoshima, Lucky, they are the last 2 men standing. And I assume that they might just try and save this armor, but doesn't mean that they'll be successful as Kalinka frags out Lucky. And only Kiyoshima is really far enough away to fall back now. Has a little bit of utility even, and of course that full armor, which is quite worthwhile to keep to yourself.
Well, his Deagle and armor and a little bit of utility is indeed worth something. And the players from HELLRAISERS, of course, now knowing they already lost 2 members, know they can't over-aggress and need to save some money. And thus they will go for a collective save, 2-0 in their favor. And, of course, yet another round 1, forcing their opponents on towards an eco, most likely. Maka will have some money, as well as Nivera, as those 2 players often bring the double up setup to the table for the CT side of Heretics. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that in the next round to come. And, well, this is just going to be an eco. That 1 deagle, possibly a pistol upgrade for XMS because he has some money as well. But they do need to also bank on utility being a factor in their first buy round.
And indeed, the utility now, well, lacking as well. I'd say that Heretics now are going to pretty much guaranteed give this round off. They are going for the right side to stack. Oh no, wait, no, they're stacked on B. Never mind. Why would you not stack on A? It's going to almost.
Well, A is the sensible choice. Yet, maybe they were banking on HELLRAISERS trying to do something different. And there could be a chance that HELLRAISERS says, well, we have Mach 10s possibly. We'll go for a little bit of a cheeky rush on towards the B side. And they will be stacking on towards A. But I think Heretics outbrained themselves.
Too smart for even themselves.
I have the same every day, you know.
Well, every day you wake up, you just realize, oh god, I'm so intelligent.
I'm too smart for myself, and then my brain turns off, and I'm fine.
You always use only like 10% of your brain.
Less.
Oh, there we go. JR gets 1, 2. Is it a 3? Yes. Eco frags all around. 4K.
Maybe even ace if he's lucky, but there will be Lime in the way, and the last player as well to go to Lime.
And indeed, that is a, once again, relatively, well, a clean round from HELLRAISERS coming in. And with that now, Heretics are still struggling on 0 rounds. Of course, they didn't win that pistol round. That went to HELLRAISERS, so you could say that they just need a little bit of momentum. And now with that double AWP coming in, that utility, the rifles, this is really going to be Heretics their time to shine.
Still amazed by this beautiful free K from JR to come in.
Oh, yeah.
But all those 2 AWPs, that might be trouble for the side of HELLRAISERS because, well, they're often not really taking that into account. However, the spray on towards Nivera, quite strong. Now it's a little bit odd because usually Maka is the upper on towards the A side. And now Maka will be most likely towards the B side because Nivera is already towards A. So I would assume Maka maybe to contest mid where he will be tagged up already.
And indeed, now more utility flying in. Big damage on the Heretic side, though not a good indicator. We now see problem here, boosting his teammate up, but no result coming from it just yet. Just some shots flying through that wood, and Nivera in the meantime shoots down Lime. And oh dear, what are they going to do now? Kalinka hops over, looks around, checks the site. Might be get a frag here, but doesn't quite look like it. XMS is waiting at the corner. Along with Lucky, their holder on the site is impeccable. Only Flarich left standing, and that means an almost definite fourth, or an almost definite first round for Heretics.
There's a player in the flank coming in rather soon, and well, there won't be any kills for that flanker as XMS is just a little bit too quick. First round indeed now in favor of Heretics. At least there is a good start on their first buy round, which is vital. At least get momentum going for yourself and possibly also punish a, well, slightly unstable financial situation on the T side. And you see them having to invest everything they almost have. Lime still on 1,000. Kalinka and JR are about the 2,000 mark. But they couldn't rebuy if they had to in the next round. And that's going to be painful if Heretics indeed manages to follow up with a 2-3 scoreline. You
would expect it at this point to see those rounds fly around a little bit. And oh, it doesn't start well for Heretics though. Maka, Nivera, neither of them can show up with the AWP. And that is your biggest investment. So if there are players that have to show up, it would be them. It's only problem that gets refragged, but still, that doesn't cancel out the damage that HELLRAISERS already managed to do. Lucky also gets tagged by the molly just a little bit, and it's not the end of the world, but you do kind of hate to see it, you know?
It's not really the way to go, especially if you have 2 AWPers working rather late, it seemed, and they both fall. There's no damage being dealt. At least Lucky is able to take care of the first player moving in quite aggressively. But now there will be a rotate over towards the B side. XMS then by tries to tap around, but he can't get a frag just yet. Lime with yet another of his own. As soon as bomb plans to come in, as there will be a spot on towards Lucky, will be tagged up to 3 HP. That would indicate a double op save most likely for Heretics if they do want to go for those weapons. Yet they're scared there might still be a player from the HELLRAISERS side around that area. And thus they don't really dare to push in that easily. But there isn't a single roamer or lurker around from the side of HELLRAISERS. They're just playing as a unit as they always do. And which always works for them.
It is a understandable risk though, because obviously, you know, you've got those AKs. Oh, but Kiyoshima in the end does recover that AWP. And it is a certain risk that you're taking, you know. You don't want to, you'd rather just get an AK with you rather than risk losing it altogether for potentially an AWP. Because those lurkers, you never know. They always show up at the worst times. And with that, we now do see that HELLRAISERS grab their 4th round. I believe I also put something in on the first of 5 rounds, and I think I put that on the wrong team.
Did you put on Heretics?
Maybe.
RJ?
Yes.
What do we know about HELLRAISERS and their early match?
I don't know what
They're quite good
no
at the
idea
early phase, and in the previous map, I think they had like a 5-1 lead at a certain point.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, then we'll survive. Yeah, did you indeed put it on towards?
Yes, I did put it on Heretics.
Don't worry. HELLRAISERS still doesn't have 5 rounds.
No, you're right. You're right. Heretics is going to come back after this.
Yeah.
They're going to do a reverse sweep.
I'm here for you, buddy. We can do this. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. As Lime will throw in his molly and, well, just by this time. It's going to be a little bit of a slow round coming in from the HELLRAISERS side as they're most likely going for that mid-take. AWP sitting by from the Heretics side, and once more JR is the opening frag. They will move through. There's a player at the sandbag, getting one, but will be traded out by JR once more. It might be that you'd be wrong, which would be a surprise to us all, as XMS is standing by on towards this little bit of scaffolding. So far, the players have already moved off. It's going to be HELLRAISERS moving through the B stairs, trying to tap around on towards the pillar. There's no player standing by this time, however. XMS is now trying to go for a frag, but Lime moves in. He not know how to follow up, but Lime once more, despite being on low HP, a double kill of his own, leaving only Maka alive in a 1v3. And you dare to say that he wouldn't go for this round anymore.
Maybe he's feeling adventurous. Maybe
Yes.
Maybe he'll just decide, oh, I get a frag on mid. Now I can pick up a rifle here, and I'll actually try and contest this.
He did pick up a defuse kit as well, so that would greatly increase his chances. And he's trying to flush out a player from behind the unit, but he won't really get that going for himself. The time is slowly ticking away, and there will be a peek from Lime. A triple kill for himself. And RJ, how much did he put in?
Oh, only 4.
Only 4,
I think.
Right. You hope.
Or 5.
4 or 5 is okay.
It's not that much. It was just a little. Yeah, it was 5.
Oh, it's not that much. You've already lost 20.
Yep.
It's okay.
Minus 390, so like it comes out to only a 16-10 loss for today.
RJ, at least remember that if Heretics wins, in the end, I will be right again, and I'll be giving some money to the community.
Yep, and you'll be able to cover for my, well,
I don't know if I'll be able to cover for that great of an amount, but I'll try to, because of course we're taking part in the Fight LGG Caster Clash. In the group stage, I crushed you.
Yes, you did.
But at least you were able to give €6.60 towards the community as well.
Yep. So that's something, you know, it's the little things in life. They'll appreciate that too.
Indeed.
But we'll see anyway, talking about little things, you know, look at this MP9 in Maka's hand. So cute. But he does get a frag with it, takes out Problem. And now maybe this is just the hold that Heretics will put down on their bomb site. Right after they lose, right after HELLRAISERS have gotten their 5th round, maybe this will be the moment that Heretics decides, oh, but now we're going to turn it around. Now we're going to start winning. We'll see it in a moment as so many shots flying around and around, but no real frags coming from it anymore. Some damage, definitely, but not much more than that.
That's a little bit of a fear factor, trying to put it in towards your opponents, as those deagles from close range. There's a player at cement, and he peeks in too late. Lime, however, does also take down Lucky, back to even numbers. This might still be a chance for HELLRAISERS to win the round, and possibly, of course, also take their opponent's map pick as towards Mirage. Is Nevera going down? Kiyoshima and XMS still standing, but for how long? Another push comes in, and Lime with yet another triple kill of his own, leaving only XMS alive, and he's currently coming from that A ramp position. Moving in slowly but steadily, but Flarich is holding the angle a little bit too passively, but the flick does come in. AWP to be recovered, and yet another round for the CIS team.
HELLRAISERS doing pretty solidly so far in the first half, but I feel like this might be just the most confident that we've seen them so far.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe, like, if I'm thinking back now to the round streaks, I don't think that HELLRAISERS have started off a map this convincingly just yet, and I worry if now they might be able to grab the 7th or the 8th. You're going to see, like, if they do grab this round, then it's a guarantee that they'll grab the round after that as well, because Heretics have just gone for the full-on investment. If they lose this now, they will have no money left. The only thing is that they do have a serious loss bonus, but still, that is quite the problem to be looking up against.
It's Mecha sending by the AWP. And of course, a double off setup to be ran by the Heretics members. Lucky will be tagged up, but XMS now going more aggressive on towards mid than they did before. And with a little bit of a bait coming in from that AWP, he should be able to get a kill, yet he isn't able to. Mecha now going aggressive with the AWP, looking for a frag return, but to your left there are 2 players, and you'll get one, but you'll just be traded out, and that's always, in this moment in time, in favor of the HELLRAISERS side. Kiyoshima and Ivera also wanting to go aggressive towards mid, trying to contest and maybe bring something in return. And HELLRAISERS, the team, they're slowly moving up towards the A-ramp as Flares now takes down Ivera as well. It almost seems too easy for the HELLRAISERS side as they're just been giving kills almost, with Heretics always just peeking in disfavorable angles.
We'll see it in a moment, as right now with only 2 people left alive on that Heretics side, it's almost a given that this will probably be HELLRAISERS their round. See Lucky here, he's standing at the top, but the question is, can he hold out, or well, can he hold off the bomb site from this position? Sees that utility flying in, doesn't have his eyes towards cement, but the moment you'd think that he actually gets 2 headshots in a row, it's Lime who frag him out.
That means now 4-1 Kiyoshima, most likely once again to save the AWP for one of his teammates. Yeah, those AWPs, they haven't been giving Heretics any opening frags, and that's what's really hurting them. They lose that early presence, which they usually can bank on with Mecha. And that's also something Maniac highlighted earlier. In the first maps, they were really leaning on towards Mecha, and he just can't win every round himself. He can't open up every round himself. And now, in a match where we don't see that happening, they're struggling. They're now 7-1 behind. Kiyoshima at least able to get 1 exit frag, but there's a few members chasing, which Kalinka. That's yet another frag, 7-1 in favor of HELLRAISERS, and we do see the bomb explode. We do see Heretics struggle, going back to a pistol armor, RJ, and that's still not really all too well.
I can't wait to hear Maniac's opinion on this, honestly. Like, I don't really, like, I wonder what's going on here with Heretics, you know? They can't defend their sites whatsoever. It's HELLRAISERS every time they try and open up the site, and then they just succeed every time so far, almost. Heretics only have the 1 round. And you would even say that... Oh, here we go. Yep, you see it as well now, right? You see these pistols. Not only do you see these pistols, I think you also see the suffering in my eyes.
Oh, you don't have kind eyes today.
No. oh, that's... Oh, God. No, indeed. I don't, as JR just frags out XMS right, well, or through the smoke, but he did see him, I believe, right before the smoke actually popped. And Lucky gets a good refrag in the meantime, sort of, as Lime goes down. He can upgrade to that AK. And now we'll see 4v3. At the very best, they can hope for 1 exit frag, maybe recover that AK, and I think they'll already be pretty happy once they've achieved that. But Heretics right now, 1 round, just the 1.
Just get it going, and then maybe they will get things for themselves and be able to come back slightly. Kiyoshima with a deagle, however, takes a 2nd frag in favor of his team, yet there's still a man behind. Kiyoshima's position known and taken care of by the man himself, JR. It means only Lucky's alive with a, well, deagle, an armor, and an AK to be picked up. But I would dare to say a save would be quite favorable for his team, as he does get 1 frag. Still goes on the aggression, has a nade as well, and Kalinka, he has been tagged up, so this nade might be a frag, but it's going to be JR planting. The damage was exactly the amount of HP Kalinka had.
Yeah.
But now he needs to get 2 bullets in towards either party. And now JR goes down. Lucky, you might be able to turn the tides of this round, get a 4K. Get around for your team. First smokes off the bomb right now. That might just be a little bit of a fear factor on towards Kalinka, but he has to tap the bomb as well. He'll now go for a stick. Kalinka, will you be able to notice? Will you go for the spray? Will you be able to connect it? Oh, the Ninja's coming through. More sprays.
Of
and
course.
Lucky, he will be hit, but he won't be killed. It is 7-2, and Heretics make it work on one of their eco rounds.
You know, I think that there needs to become a new meta where instead of just tapping the bomb the first time, you just immediately stick to it. And
Bros don't fake.
If you've got a smoke, you've got that 50-50 chance that your enemy isn't going to remember where exactly he put the bomb, and he's just going to have to spray and hope that he hits. But clearly, you see that doesn't always work out. And with that Heretics now, they can grab that second round, but they are still 5 behind HELLRAISERS, so they still have quite some catching up to do.
Kyoshima not being happy as Gambi will throw in his incendiary to slow down possibly the push from Live. He hears it however and just buys his time. Smokes last longer than incendiaries do, and thus he just waits for it to extinguish. JR with the AWP this time around, trying to back up of course the AKs being bought by the HELLRAISERS side. As they had enough money, yet they're now losing out on towards some reserves. Kalink however still rich as can be. He has more than enough to rebuy if they do lose out on this round. As there will be an opening crack from Live on towards Lucky. He just moves in time and time again on towards that A side. And he gets a double. And this time again, he just gets a double kill in. He will be low, but it doesn't really matter. Because at this moment in time, Heretics just doesn't have the control. They still have a player effort at AWP on towards Maka, having the first frag as well. They're trying to aggress even more. Yet there will be shots also fired along his position. Look at the map as well. Kalinka, in the meantime, says, I'll just clear B side. You come, you plant, we win.
B-side is mine. And indeed, now we see the rest of HELLRAISERS rotating through. Kalinka there, he is going to have to really practice out that hold, and he does seem to succeed for now, although Nivera actually frags out Larry. Now, we see XMS going for the refrag on Problem. Oh! Lovely, lovely shot there with that AWP. Kalinka quite swiftly fragged out.
Was Nivera, luckily.
Yeah, Nivera getting the shot there. And indeed, Lime now is the last man standing. Oh, this could be a chance.
But why would you aggress like that? You know he has to plant. You know there is no time. And, well, you know that Lime is low. And luckily, XMS has picked up that M4 once more. Saves the AWP. But that could have and should have maybe been the round for HELLRAISERS. You saw that over-aggression from Nivera.
But I feel like maybe they should have tried to commit. Although I'm not sure if they actually did have a player committed to that plan.
Well, the bomb was dropped before. That's a big problem. And they had to recover it. Luckily, XMS had his support right here towards this frag because he would have missed. And he stayed alive due to Nivera just having his back because he couldn't move back behind the unit as well. And from that point onward, it really got close. And now we do see a mid-rush to come in from the side of HELLRAISERS. Flashback to come in. Oh, Maka, you're done for. He will get 0 frags. I would have maybe given him 1. And on towards this force spike coming in from the side of HELLRAISERS. They've already got an upgrade on towards JR, and he'll be quite pleased about that.
And indeed, now we see Heretics. They are once again looking at a one-man deficit, and HELLRAISERS potentially looking at a certain first half, well, advantage now. If they get this round in, whilst it would be on a mediocre buy, they do get that certain advantage. And right now, I think that's still a very real possibility. There's still a very real chance that that would happen. With, as you can see now, Heretics still 4 rounds lagging behind. Utility isn't, well, it's still a little bit present, but not really that much anymore.
JR now trying to rotate to join his team, as they're most likely going for that A take. A side most often to be taken on towards this map. But the big thing is, at Cement you do see Lucky standing by. There is no more Molly left on the HELLRAISERS side, so they can't really flush him out that easily. No nades either. So he'll be having to duel it out with some support from Kyoshima, who's close by at the crane. Gets the first frag, that's at least a very good bait, and now it's time for Lucky to soon peek in. And they're not contesting him. XMS now also with a very good smoke to hold things off and look at the time. 15 seconds left, but XMS already getting the double. Lucky doesn't even need to do much, and he will get 1. No, not really. Nivera just stealing the frag as only Flares is alive. Trying to move back at the yellow tarp, and he will be waited upon. A costly round for the side of Heretics, but still, they managed to win it 4-7, and slowly they're getting into it. Yet they also now have to once more go up against the buy from HELLRAISERS because they almost lost against Pistol Armor.
Yeah, indeed, and that is kind of the, how do I put it, well, the tough situation in a way. And I will see, I believe also a tactical coming in, I'm going to assume...
HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, probably from HELLRAISERS. And now we'll see if that's going to be their chance, really, to redeem themselves, to try and, well, build their streak further, so to speak, because they really started off very confidently, had, I believe, a 6-round advantage even, and right now that's kind of shrinking a little bit too much, you'd say, for how strong they were playing and how quickly they were getting onto the sites and getting the frags. They seem to right now have lost that momentum a bit against Heretics.
Just really playing the patient game until they push. He wouldn't go for a peek. And when the Dopper will push, Knife Arrow's already standing by. Unfortunately, they lost XMS in the end. Surviving 3 players would have been great for their economy. Yet it's still a little bit on the low side. Of course, you also now see that full muscle towards XMS rather than an AK that he might have had if he would have stayed alive a little bit longer. AWP, however, still on the CT side. That will really help them. Of course, we know it's their most preferred weapons. It's going to be 7-4. AK buy from HELLRAISERS, and I would expect them to now go for a really aggressive round, possibly a very quick round towards B, because that's something they didn't really try on their buy rounds. And sometimes you do see only one player standing close towards B at the start of a round, so it might be a bit of a weak spot.
And indeed, right now, though, it remains to be seen where the weak spot might lie. We see Lime here, as though the only bomb carrier, and a little bit too alone for my taste. Going up there by a yellow top. XMS and Nivera in the meantime take out 2 players on the HELLRAISER side. Potentially that could become more depending on where that bomb might be going. But right now we see Kalinka, he's falling back.
He doesn't feel it anymore after Kyoshima had the frag as well.
I get that.
A little bit sloppy from the side of HELLRAISERS, just giving 1v1 fights. And well, HELLRAISERS now losing out on more and more players. 5-2. Kyoshima saying, well, last time around, Lucky was able to play this position. Now I can do too. And oh, sure you can. Will they be able to spot it? Well, so far, again, they're not focusing towards it. They're not really checking it. And they even have Molly on towards Kalinka. They're trying to sneak up towards that side as Flair trying to spot a player in towards CT. And then Kiyoshima's like, oh, wait, they're already pushing. Sorry, dude. And now only Kalinka is alive. He heard a shot from Kiyoshima. They know he's there. And then the volley will be there as well as a frag. It's still a 1v4, however, with a nade now flying in towards the side, dealing 0 damage. Kalinka, the big thing you can do now is get that bomb plant, but he's not committing. The bomb plant would, with the lost bonus they have, maybe result in yet another buy or even a very good set of pistol armor. And now they don't have really either of that. They can buy those pistols. Some can even buy armor. That's not really the situation you could have been in. That bomb plant, the Eagle's armor utility, and then you can really start to deal damage on towards the Heretic side, and they're not playing it cleanly.
No, not right now, and it's a bit of a shame, of course, because you've got higher expectations from, well, I'd say HELLRAISERS as well. But right now, the damage, yeah, pistol armor here coming in, damage is the best thing for them to hope for, really. Not much, it's not really going to be much more than that, I believe. And right now, oh, solid volley actually, oh, coupled with that grenade. See them trying, but look, the problem comes in from the right side, but he doesn't actually get any frags. Problem.
Oh, that's unfortunate now, a 4-on-2, and they're at least on the side, at least now getting the plant. Nade comes in, yet not to get a frag, as JR survived with, I believe, 2 or 3 HP. Players alive in a 1v4, trying to play this after plot to perfection. The CZ, of course, running out of bullets. Nivera hunting him down. So it will be the 6-7. Heretics closing the gap to only 1 round. And we should remember, every time HELLRAISERS starts off really strong, this map a little bit stronger than we usually see. But Heretics is just able to bounce back later in towards the half. So I wouldn't be surprised if Heretics on their CT side start, at least string together a few rounds. Only for Heretics to come back stronger later.
No, you're absolutely right, and I say maybe, well, I'm really afraid for HELLRAISERS that that's going to be the result, because it is so much in the, in the pattern of behavior as well, in how that these teams have been playing. And oh, solid utility damage here so far. Problem heavily tagged up. Lucky though, runs out of ammo and then decides, oh, I'm going to follow that up with my USB, but Now can go for that reload, and we'll just see Problem quite heavily tagged up. And now HELLRAISERS already having decided, well, you know what? Not that site. We'll go to the other one. But there is Nivera at the ready, and if there is someone who has to hold a site and do that with an AWP, then it'll definitely be him.
Lime now playing the cement area because everyone has played it and everyone from that position had success.
No, it's my turn at cement. No, it's my turn. No,
I can do
IGL.
this.
Let me do it. We'll see, though, if that comes in clutch anyhow or in any way, shape, or form, because I expect Nivera here. Well, they do have quite a bit of utility still, so they can flash themselves in onto the site. We'll see a smoke here pop now as well soon enough. And indeed, some mollies flying in.
The smokes are already there to counter it off. Nivera with the first frag on towards Kalinka. They're just running into his scope because the flashbangs aren't good. Lime, however, has been standing by on towards the A side, waiting for the over-rotate to come in from the side of Heretics, and they have. They are going to follow up on towards XMS as well, as Mecha will be able to get one in return. Throws in a molly, but he has to hold off Yellow Tarp. He will get another frag on towards Problem. Flares in the back, however, he'll be too close for comfort. That means back to a 2-on-2 we go. However, the bomb still has to be planted. Look at the time, 15 seconds. He now goes all the way around to ramp, negating the Yellow Tarp area. And now he has to plant with 10 seconds left. And this is the moment in time for Heretics to peak. And Lucky was already standing by. It is now a 1v1. JR, of course, trying to save his AWP, possibly to take one player out, because a little bit of damage would be nice. And it's going to be Lucky trying to hunt him down. That's the damage being dealt. HELLRAISERS saving nothing. As I believe Nivera accidentally throwing that AWP off the map, but they have money. They don't care. It's Heretics now playing for possibly their round lead after this first half.
Yeah, I think saying that they have money, they don't care is a rather accurate way of summing it up, because you can look at HELLRAISERS now, and they don't have money, and they do care. But it's very likely that now, facing off against Heretics, they'll be getting that, well, they'll be losing now and giving them that 8th round. See you in a moment. JR with Zeus as well, so you know that these are the pro plays. Molly thrown again once, well, onto a ramp. Kiyoshima peeking in quite aggressively, but successfully so. Nade is very much on point. JR, you lucky son of a gun. 3 HP left, and he can recover a weapon now. But that was close. That was extremely close. XMS in the meantime also manages to frag out, I believe, Lime that was. And now we see this going so much Heretics their way.
That's so painful for JR, just getting the nade into the face and picking up the bomb as Flares picks up a kill towards Nivera. Of course, we shouldn't forget that Mecha is also low. So there is a chance they could bring this back. Just put a shot on towards Mecha, and Kalinka, he's already so close, and they will never notice until Mecha dies. And look at the positions now from the side of Heretics. Now they're rushing in to possibly bring it back. Their shots, they're just not connecting. JR going for a plant. There is no nade coming in, so there's no clear on towards him. But Kalinka, he can't really cover it off either. XMS now gets a double. Flarage, the only member standing, but look at the flank coming in from mid. XMS, however, he has a hunch. He expects this to come in, as it will be a fake towards the defuse, and now they will commit with an 8-7 result on their first half. XMS almost jumping off himself, but HLTV rating, baby.
HLTV rating is one of the most important things. Do you remember when there was that little debacle about people not being allowed to suicide on Vertigo?
Really?
Yeah, it was... I can't remember the exact reasoning behind it. Basically, like, in some cases, suiciding by jumping off the map was the better choice to make, because otherwise, you know, if you survive...
You'd give money to your opponent.
Yeah, and they actually... I think they overruled, like, they said that that wasn't allowed, but I think they actually went back on that.
It's a feature.
Yeah,
and sometimes you just mess up your accidental jump that should go fast. Kalinka, well, it took some time for him to go down, but eventually it did work. Of course, shout out to Lucky for the flashbang, as we do now see 8-7 come out. And there was, I believe, at a certain time, a 7-1 lead for the HELLRAISERS. And that's just vanished. Like, their lead gone out of the window. And Heretics, if they do now also win this pistol, whew, there might be some pressure going down on towards that CT side of HELLRAISERS. And all those Glocks, they're training towards A. But look at this. They're pushing on towards, or outwards of B on the HELLRAISERS side. They might be waited upon by Kiyoshima, sending by the Glock. And he will have the angle towards first player. Very good dig, but there's a second one as well. He doesn't really dare to commit, but as there will be Kalinka with 2 frags. How does he still make it work? At least it's a decent trade for the side of HELLRAISERS, yet they're still now in a very annoying position. frags to come out, possibly from Varich. At least he has the range of funds, but as the flashback comes in, he will be pushed by players coming in close. XMS with follow-up, his first frag in this round. It's Lucky once more. Is that anchor for Heretics to build upon. Despite him being that more supportive player, he's still getting all those frags. We see the last two players from HELLRAISERS coming from the B stairs, and Lucky is standing by, possibly to go for yet 2 more frags. But my Barry, you're over peaking. XMS luckily with a follow-up down. It's only JR, but oh! It's a 1v1. He can still make this work because Lucky, he doesn't have any armor. Armor punch will be a factor, as it will be eventually the last step to come in. And 9-7 for Heretics, but I was a little bit scared that JR could make it work because there was a sense of over-peaking on that Heretic side.
Oh, absolutely. There was quite some risk there being taken, but in the end now, it is, of course, Heretics that do take that pistol round. Whilst they might have lost the pistol round against HELLRAISERS, them getting the T-pistol round in the beginning, right now this could be the the start that Heretics need. Get themselves to those double digits and then build further on upon that, because you can see as well, weapon-wise, you know, AK in there, Galil. Lucky opens it up so well with that AK too, and now we see Kiyoshima, he's pushing down mid, and problem, he's holding that angle here, but angle, but they're not going to be pushing there. They're not going to be going for this stairs because right now they've got pretty much the A site under control.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. HELLRAISERS, it would be advisable to save what you have now because you're already banking on an eco in the next round. And those MP9s, that Deagle, that Harbor as well, has a little bit of utility. It might work way better in the next. So just try to make do, try to survive. And Heretics themselves, they might not over-aggress because, of course, they don't want to give extra money to their opponents, knowing there will be SMGs. However, the French T side will now go to the double digits. But look also at the players running towards this position, down the B stairs, and Mecha with his Mech 10. I would dare to say Rumbu's work out really well because Kalinka is standing by. You would never expect that. And that's maybe the chase momentum I want to see from the Heretic side. Do some juicy stuff like that.
Ooh, go for the cheeky run boosts.
Oh yes,
when people least expect them. But that's the one that we go. Oh, there we go, Kalinka and Lime. Lucky though, he manages to come in with the refrags, and in the end, it is Heretics. They do win it out. They do have the player advantage, and it's not the end of the world for them. They can get those AKs in now, get their utility, their armor, and now they can be happy that they've achieved those double digits. I do believe that, well, Heretics right now, they can really keep that momentum up. It's only been Kalinka that managed to save that MP9, and that is not really a lot, you know, that is not very worthwhile.
Well, like, the big problem was that Lucky was able to refrag with the AK. Still, $600 made on 2 players of HELLRAISERS, yet that doesn't really give you anything in towards this round, as Mecha is standing in the fire from one of his teammates. Not really the sickest play, but apparently it makes him still alive, as Kiyoshima UMP is now trying to hunt, but Lime saving that Deagle, or at least picking up that Deagle rather, getting the first frag of the round. Once more, pistols are putting pressure on towards the Heretic side, and they really need to go for a solid execute now, and they're going for that AK. The bomb to come in now as Lucky through the smoke takes down Lime. There's at least a refrag to come in, and his nade will deal 0 damage, because there's no player standing by. Look at the flank, also one player already entered towards the A ramp, trying to contest it later on, but Heretics, they should be having a member standing by to counter that off. And if they don't, whew, this might be a terrible route. It seems as if they're not really holding that flank. Get a player in the flank, Kalinka. He's standing by for exit frags. He's not really going for the flank. Yet, of course, we know it would have been detrimental for the T side. They're trying to play it out to at least get some more frags, alleviate the pressure for themselves. As so far as JR looking for a frag of his own. Kalinka, as we said, standing by. And I think as the bomb explodes, the damage will be done on towards the side of Heretics. He might be able to get some kills for himself. That's the first frag on towards Nivera. Now he falls back because he's already got some return on investment. Look at the money already gained for him. And he could drop the AWP for JR and play along with either that MP9 or get an M4 drop from JR himself. As well, I think that would be quite valuable. It seems like JR might be going for that MP9 play himself because he does like to play rather aggressive with SMGs sometimes.
And there we can see that AWP coming in now, and indeed JR, he knows how to rock those SMGs, get some extra cash into his pockets. But right now, it's still a 4-round deficit for HELLRAISERS. So whilst their buy might be good this time around, there's quite a lot of banking on it. The pressure goes higher and higher with, well, the more rounds they get to be behind. And as Naivera there gets the first frag, once again, that's already the AWP out of the running. Kiyoshima here goes to that engagement, heavily tags up JR. And Naivera in the meantime, he takes out Problem. It's just really a relentless assault from the Heretics side. You might be thinking, you know, okay, HELLRAISERS, they're going to their CT side. This is going to be their chance to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Right? Oh, no, clearly not. Because right now it's looking like they're probably going to lose this round as well. That gives Heretics the 12th. And case in point, so many shots flying by. Yoshima here now. Oh, he does go down to Lime, actually. It's a solid nade going in as well. And then Lime? Okay.
Well, they're dealing with damage. XMS still standing by, however, to possibly get some frags if they do push through a little bit more. However, HELLRAISERS already said, we're going for the save. These exit frags just make it a little bit easier for ourselves because Lime now has an AK as well. That means at least they have 3 rifles, at least they have the armor, and they can drop for the next round. JR can drop that M4, and I believe he has more than enough money to buy an AWP for himself this time. So that would still be a very good buy for the HELLRAISERS. Look at their money. They can make it work. As Players also gets an extra frag on towards Lucky. There might be some pressure on towards the other situation on the side of Heretics. They have saved up quite a bit, so they will be able to rebuy in full easily. And they will still have some money. But it's just a little bit of a waste at this moment in time.
Just the teensy tiniest bit, you could say. But right now, Heretics, they have 5 rounds ahead, and their advantage is growing and growing. And slowly but surely, depending on how the following rounds will go, we can almost start being assured of Heretics being on point here, Heretics being pretty well set. TR pushed away now by the utility usage. Further back onto the side. Lion here, would almost expect something from him. He does get tagged up now, and they should actually know that he's there. Indeed, Maka frags him out. It's the first frag coming into the Heretics side now. It could be one of the many, as things are looking more and more positive for Heretics. Things are favoring the HELLRAISERS less and less.
It's so painful to see because HELLRAISERS are a very strong team, but against Heretics it just doesn't seem to work. JR now going down first, a little bit of a cheeky wallbang. Just a few shots on Luke's body will do the trick. Lucky himself, he will be low. But low is not dead as Blinka. He'll get 1 kill, but of course he will die straight after because Maka is there for the frag.
Oh, but that's a solid nade there from Lucky. Claridge aggressive push ahead. That works out a little bit. Now it's a 2v1 though. Problem is the last man standing, and where is he going to go there? He doesn't end up winning out this engagement. XMS frags him out, but there is plenty of economy damage dealt by Heretics though, although problem being that XMS and Naivera, they still have so much money left, so they can easily buy this through. Whereas now on the HELLRAISERS side, let's force it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I was going to say, you know, pistol armor.
It's a decent buy.
Yeah.
There's 2 M4s in AWP and 2 FAMASs, and, well, it seems as if Maniac and I were right, that Heretics were winning. Of course, he also said that Heretics would be winning, but you betted against them, and that's a very bad bet.
On the previous, at the start of this map, and it's starting to quite look like it as those frags playing. Oh, Kalinka here, turn around, but then Lucky comes in, and eventually he goes to the frag. And so we, Flourish, this is a lovely refrag coming in. Oh, well, refrag, lovely return frag coming in. Kiyoshima going down to him. And this nade.
Well, this is such a crazy round. He's just running all over the place, trying to get practice. There will be damage done on towards JR. The plant soon to come in from Lucky if he does remember that he has the bomb as well. There will be mollies, everything flying out. Oh, Lucky finally going for the bomb plant as Maka is standing by at this scaffolding. JR falling, now 8-2-2. He goes a little bit too aggressive. And that's just a little bit of a waste as Lime will be able to get 1 frag in return. Nate comes in, and Lime, of course, with another frag. He is key for the side of HELLRAISERS, and they now win another round, 13-8. But still, look at the odds on Fight.gg. Heretics quite convincingly favored, I dare to say.
Just, you know, it's just a little bit less favored, you know, not that much, just a few 20 odds. Oh, that is dreadful. Right now, they will have to see HELLRAISERS, they are still 5 rounds behind. They've still got some catching up to do, and Heretics, they are still going to be able to put down a reasonable enough buy, I'd say, even. And, oh, look at that. It's a little chicken.
chicken.
It's for you.
Yeah, I love Lime. He always puts that down. Makes me happy. Because of course they also bring the Roosters to support the Frenchies that they're trying to slaughter, but it doesn't work out. Big thing is that HELLRAISERS can't even use the excuse that in a best of 3 they would have won, because HERETICS would have still won. And they're now also losing on towards Vertigo as well, and it's just not working out. It's them being punished, but at least they've now won a round and want to at least get some momentum. They're still 5 rounds behind, however, and that means it's gonna be hard for them. It's gonna be very hard for them to move back in towards this map, but with Lime stepping up once more on the A side, getting the first frag and looking for a second. It seems like they might have a decent shot, or at least bring it to 13-9. JR now also going into the AWP. Will get down by XMS, and that's a clean execution. Back to equal numbers, and some might say you shouldn't go as aggressive. You already have the advantage with Maka also stepping up on towards Lime. That's the key players down on the HELLRAISER side. Maka almost getting another one on towards the player coming from that CT area. But Flash will be still alive for the time being. Problem now also trying to help him out, but Kyoshima is already there. Maka as well. Only Kalinka alive, and he might be in the flank, but he's already running away because, well, ain't nothing there for him.
No, indeed. You can say that again. HERETICS now pretty much guaranteed to win the 14th round. And HELLRAISERS, indeed, they are now going to be 6 rounds behind. HERETICS, well played by them in the end now. You know, as you can see, this kind of waning down as well. HELLRAISERS, they are just, on average, they'll have, well, after this loss bonus, they'll still not look at too best of a result. They will have they still have a considerable loss bonus though, so they might be able to force a buy out of it anyway. But I do think that right now, HERETICS grabbing this 14th round, it is too big of a deficit really for HELLRAISERS to work through. You can see it indeed. You know, it is a serious loss bonus, but it's not really quite enough. They can commit to that armor and rifle for some people, but then, you know, other people are going to have to maybe go for, you see a FAMAS, or you see an armor and some sort of SMG coming in. See it again here, Maka, just lovely, lovely AWP shots. So far, 2 rounds left for HERETICS to make this the free one. For them to win this best of 5 and get their grand final spot secured.
XMS standing by, of course, throwing in the early mollies as JR will go for the aggression, as we do know. And JR4, he will get a first frag. Of course, XMS, almost a second. But Lime will be there to refrag. However, Maka once more with the AWP, able to trade it out. And HELLRAISERS, being that CT side, will never be in favor if the trades go this way. Equal trades, always in favor of the T side because the CTs will be spread thin. And Kyoshima, he's standing by, CTs the player, but at the moment he sees him, he will just be dropping down. And we've seen that problem happen before, as Flash is standing at the cement area. There are 2 mollies, but they're not expending a single one. And Maka, he's trying to move up. And Flair, she could get an easy frag, maybe even 2. Because they're just disregarding this position. They're making noise as well. Flash will go for the peek. That's 1, that's 2, and almost 3, but Kyoshima standing by. 1v2 for the legendary French player. Usually the T-side lurker for HERETICS. As utility flies in and, ooh, Lenka, you're burning up. But at least he stays alive for the time being. With 45 seconds remaining. Kyoshima can still rotate to wherever he wants, and of course still has to recover that bump being dropped underneath that A ramp. And indeed he will, and now go back towards A. Kalinka has a hunch. Problem will be there as well, because they have to play as a unit. And they're pushing through the yellow tar, but this might just be a little bit of a flankaroo. Coming down on towards Kyoshima, not expecting these players to come from his behind, as it is the nice way of stating it. And Kyoshima is trying to clear out every angle. The time, it's running low, but look at this as well. HELLRAISERS, they're moving towards that B side, but they just hear the noise in time. Just hear those steps come down from Kyoshima, and of course also the plant. Is Kyoshima now looking the wrong way? First frag to come in, almost a flick on towards Problem. That would have been the clutch of a lifetime. And that means now we will see 14-9. HELLRAISERS will bring 1 round in return. But it could have been the 15-8. It could have been a map, match, and series point.
But still, plenty of money for HERETICS from what I can see, except maybe unlucky, but it can definitely be brought around. And HELLRAISERS, in the meanwhile, they now should have somewhat enough, but it was such a damaging round every time. Even if they do get the win, they at the very best keep 1 member alive. And you can see certain clutch plays coming in here from someone like Flaric. You know, he's being that solid side anchor. And oh lord, that could have been so close to actually being the double kill for Kyoshima. That would have been insane. and of course would have given Heretics their map and match point.
Sending by the AWP, trying to hold the angle towards the corner around the crane. Yet no player contesting, as there will be damage dealt by the nades of HELLRAISERS. XMS and Maka both slightly low, with Maka even on a glass cannon. It's not really the most favorable position to be in. Of course, you might get a kill like he does now on Lime, but a nade could really hurt you. Yet there aren't any nades on HELLRAISERS. As you said, there was only one player alive at the end of the previous round, and that meant they had to rebuy in full almost. Kalinka will get a frag on towards Kyoshima. That's back to a 4-on-4, and still the damage, of course, being dealt on towards the Heretics side. However, we have to say, Kalinka over-aggressing there should have gone down to Kyoshima, because he had the angle, just wasn't able to react in time, and that would have meant most likely the round once more.
Perhaps, perhaps. Right now, though, I do see that, well, it is an advantage for either side, really. That it's equal ground, because you can even see the HP. Maka is maybe a little bit more tagged up, but look at Kalinka versus XMS. You know, they're both quite heavily damaged, and now we'll see how the rest of this round is going to play out. It really depends on how this A ramp push will go. You've got JR. He's starting to peek in, though. He's expecting someone coming through yellow top, but they might not even opt to go for that place. Although I can see one player going for it. Molly on cement, as it should be. Flash's peeker is going to be good. Gets the one frag. Doesn't quite immediately get refragged. Oh, actually, he eventually does. XMS takes him out, and now JR has to hold, but that smoke covers him out. And indeed, Maka there takes out Link in the meantime. Nivera takes out JR. Problem is the last man standing. He can surprise Maka in the flank, but they'll know where he is now, and we see the bomb ticking down. Heretics can just play the time now. They can go in a very defensive position. Problem does have that defuse kit in his hand, so he has a little bit of time advantage, but for the rest, why should they risk this? They can just let him trap it, and they'll try. Oh, here we go. Here comes the peek, and Nivera, of course. If there's anyone who's going to one-tap, then it will definitely be Nivera, you know? Even though the famous quote they talk about my one-taps is attributed to someone else, he still has somewhat of the potential for it as well.
It seems as if at this moment in time it will be Heretics winning it. He also, of course, greatly...
Oh, let's go.
Now I have to give this round to HELLRAISERS. If they're bringing the swag 7s, it should be, right?
Oh, yeah.
Going to close range.
That is definitely their win.
Easy round for JR, because he will most likely once more go aggressive. We've seen it many of times, and it works quite often as well. And they do go for quite an aggressive push towards that A ramp, yet it's just Heretics trying to stand by and wait for the aggression to come in. JR holding the angle in the usual push corner, and that makes it a little bit scary, especially for him as he does move fast, and it will be XMS pulling him through a gap in the smoke. And we do see now a 5-4 scoreline to come in favor of Heretics. They only need this round, and they'll be in the final, and they are one of our final contenders. We started to doubt them, and we shouldn't have, after they lost Inferno. But from that point onwards, almost smooth sailing, apart from the early stage in the round.
Almost, you know, smooth sailing with a bit of a storm coming in between in the form of one map. Lime, though, he does get XMS fragged out there. That makes it an equal playing field once again. As right now, we do see with... Oh, that's another trade coming in. Lucky now frags out Lime, and it's a 3v3. Still no site push just yet. And we'll have to see what that's going to give, as HELLRAISERS are still so many rounds behind. They have to win this. There is no other way. Heretics being on there, of course.
Look at the yellow tar push. There's two players once more going aggressive. Kyoshima has their timing. No. It's the first frag on towards Problem. Nivera takes down Kalinka as well, but Flarage, he will be able to refrag one. The problem is the bomb has already gone towards that B side. Nivera already having the control, using the utility as well to at least create a safe space for himself. A bubble, so to say. And Flarage, he's picked up the AK. He has that AK in armor, but he doesn't have any utility. Not a single defuse kit on himself. That means he'll have to retake quite heavily against these players. And Kyoshima is already peeking, and he goes down. Now Nivera in a 1v1. But Nivera, you shouldn't lose this. He wins these. You always hear on the HLTV forums. But will it be a win as well? Flarage is moving up, Nivera just playing the time because he knows time is of the essence. Time is in his favor. And Flarage now on towards the bomb. Will 7-1. Will he spot it out? And of course he's not defusing. He wants to go for the aggression. 16-9. And Heretics win this semifinal with a 16-9. 3-1 in maps advantage.
Solid play there in the end by Heretics, not even allowing HELLRAISERS to get to the double digits. It has to be said, you know, it was getting closer and closer, but eventually now, towards the end, we can see that with a decisive Vertigo win, Heretics here, they secure their grand final spot.